Hi, welcome to Bari Nation, where we support the bariatric community with humor, humility, and honesty.
You've just tuned into a podcast that welcomes you into a community, a resource center, and a safe place that powers your journey towards personal wellness.
Our goal is you leave us today feeling hopeful, inspired, and ready to live your best bariatric life.
Hi, friends. Welcome to 2026. This is the first episode of the Bari Nation podcast in the new year. Hi.
Exciting.
It's been a hot minute. I feel like it's been a hot minute since we have recorded together because life be lifing, but we're always here together with you and with each other. And we have all come to a realization, if I may be so bold, that what we are really seeking along this bariatric journey cannot be found in a book or a planner or even an app. We are really seeking deep transformation, but it's not what we think it is. And the work that goes into transforming us as individuals is complex, it is multifaceted, and it is ongoing. It is a journey that kind of never ends. And we want to talk about that today because we've all kind of come to this realization together, and we're exploring this in different ways for each of us. So we invite you to this conversation with an open mind, with an open heart, knowing that what we thought this would be, meeting our bariatric journey, is not at all what it has ended up being. And just now, when we are this many years old, we're realizing this. And it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. And as you listen, I think we're going to talk about a lot of really heavy things today too. But in the same vein, like transformation can be really light and it can include the little day-to-day things. So as you're, maybe you're thinking about what you want to do in the new year, as many of us are, it doesn't have to be this huge, difficult mountain to climb. It can be little day-to-day things. And I think we'll get into that, more in our conversation. But just want to encourage you, like, yes, this is kind of a deep episode, but also we're going to have fun and we're going to touch on the lighter things as well.
Yep. Because if you're not having fun along the way, you're not doing it right. You're just not doing it right. What's the point? What, like, oh my God, what is the point? Life is heavy enough as it is. And transformation, often in my brain, at least, when somebody says the word transformation, or I think of the word transformation, I think of a magic show, right? I think of somebody on stage and they, boom, do this thing and smoke and poof, and they're gone, or there's something different. And I think I had this idea that transformation was something magical and instant instead of not necessarily magical, but work and ongoing. And I don't know about you guys, but I see the word transformation now everywhere. Everything and everybody is a transformation. It's everywhere. And it kind of loses its meaning. It's getting in the sauce.
Well, it's because it's used as a marketing tool a lot. And that's the bright and shiny part of it. They want to, transform, be the new you, the new this, the new that, the new, it's so much better now because it's transformed into this. But what they don't show you is the peek behind the curtain, which is the work. You don't just wake up. You didn't just wake up one morning and be your heaviest weight. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and be your lowest weight. That's not how it works. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and be metabolically well when you weren't metabolically well for so many years. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work that way. There's lots of work that goes into it. You got to dig deep sometimes. It's going to be hard. There's going to be mountains to climb. However, if you look, as you hear about people climbing Everest and many other mountains, you got Sherpas along the way. You got to reach out, find your guide. Who's going to be your guide? The guide will help you climb the summit. And that's just how, that's the easiest way we can put it, to let you know that there are people with you along the journey. You do not have to do this by yourself.
And you can bring your previous version with you. I mean, it's not like it's like chapters in a book. You still have the main character through the entire book. You're not just dropping who you were in 2025. That's something that I realized writing my intentions. April started this revolution, I guess I could call it, in Berry Nation in our support community of doing 13 wishes or 13 intentions. And April, if you want to go into what that is, feel free. But I was writing mine and I thought it's not about leaving the old me behind or leaving the previous year's Natalie in 2025. It's about bringing me and how can I grow more. So I encourage you to think about it that way, just as Jason and April both said. It's not that you're just going to magically poof into a new person. It's how can we grow every single year, bringing our own selves further.
Yep. I kind of had this harsh realization. I don't know, maybe I was a year and a half post-op, and I can remember sitting in my new house and it hit me like just like a bus. And I was like, "Oh my god, nothing has changed. I'm thinking the same thing. I'm worrying about the same thing, or I'm fretting. I don't feel like anything has changed. I thought surgery would be the transformation. Turns out it wasn't that case at all. And that's a really challenging, difficult point for us to get to in this journey because you already know all of the work that you've put in to get to that point. And then all of a sudden, you're right back in a place that is so familiar, so known, and it's devastating because for me, at least, that was not the transformative part of my journey. What has been transformative is everything that happened after that moment of realization. That's the actual transformation.
Well, and it's uncomfortable how comfortable those feelings are because you
Mhm,
think about it until you're smacked right back in there and you're like, "Oh, shit. I don't I don't I didn't like feeling like this before. I damn sure don't like feeling like this again when I wasn't
mhm.
ever feel like it again." And so the realization to that is it's kind of a not only is it a harsh reminder of how how we got where we got, but it's the unsettling feeling of not knowing how to get out of it because we didn't know how to get out of it before. And the first thing we don't think about all the tools that we have now that we didn't have before. We just instantly snap back to, oh God, I know what this feels like. I know what's going to happen. And then you just kind of, the rabbit hole opens up wider and wider as you go because, all the data that we have is data that, that we've had from over the years of how this is going to go and diets failed and this and that and weight lost and regained and all that, all those things kind of just smack you in the face without any warning. And if you don't have the proper community and help in place, you're not going to know what to do with all that. The emotions, the feelings, the thoughts, let me explain to you, like most people think the emotions, the hormones, all that, the thoughts can get nasty real quick.
What started for me this year was this overwhelming sense of panic because everything that I had done up until that moment set in to produce a different outcome, right? For my personal life, for Berry Nation, for everything. It had not worked. It had not worked. It had not resulted in what I thought or what I needed it to result in. And it really kind of was this moment of I don't know if despair is the right word, but I guess oh my God, I'm even blanking on the word. What's the word when you release or when you acknowledge like I don't have this figured out. I don't know what I'm doing. My freaking brain won't remember.
Relinquish.
Yes, thank you. Yes. It's really hard for me to give up control of things, right? Because I believe deeply that I am the master of the universe and I can control all things through sheer work and effort and willpower. And I just got to this point where I was like, nothing is working. Nothing is working. I am deeply unhappy. And all of the systems, all of the things that I've done in the past have not worked. And it was like, okay, so what now? I'm out of things to try and do. And I kind of realized in that moment that I was going to need to truly try something brand new, something that I had never done before. And transformation often happens not by choice, but by force, by need. You're just out of things to try. And it was at that kind of moment that I was introduced to this concept called the 13 wishes or 13 magical nights. There's all kinds of different versions of this, but it's a Germanic, it's a European tradition, I guess, that in between either the solstice or Christmas day and then the 6th, you think about 13 wishes that you want for yourself and for your life. You write them down before on little pieces of paper. And then starting on that first night, you randomly select one, don't look at it, and burn it. Send it up to the universe. And when I learned about this, it really gave, I mean, it like, I think I probably like took a breath in. I was like, oh, there's no way I'm doing that. There's no way that I am not giving up control, that I'm just going to But it was in that moment that I realized I think I need this more than what I even realized. Me controlling everything has not resulted in what I wanted it to. And right, the opposite of that is learning how to let go of control, how to do one thing, how to trust in the universe or whatever you want to call it, to pick up some of the slack and you focus on just one thing that you didn't necessarily choose.
Right. See, because the end result is you burn 12 and the one that you have left is what you focus on for the year, right?
Right?
Yeah,
That's the gist.
and the other side to that is that the other 12 could still happen because you are
Yes.
giving them to the universe, and that you're sending those messages to the universe, and so those some of those things could still happen, but that last one is your intention, the one that you will be responsible for the year. Um, and that's what, like, mom and I were sitting there and we're like, "This is really hard. What do I wanna do?" And then I got to the end and I was like, "Well, I want to be intentional about reading. I'm gonna put that on there. I'm gonna be intentional about, I don't know, moving my body," or, I've started thinking I have to do all of these really heavy lifting, mental gymnastics work that, we're so used to doing in the Berry Nation community all the time. But what if it's as simple as I want to be more literate? I want to read more. I want to read 12 books in a year. That's not this like huge lofty goal. That's something that I can do, but that I haven't done for a while. And it was so nice to feel like I was relinquishing some of that control. Like, okay, I'm just going to trust that what is meant for me will come and just let that be enough. It was really I felt similar though, April, when I was doing that.
Like April skin crawl because she doesn't have the hotline directly to the universe, so she can't be like, "Hey, listen, this isn't the plan that I signed up for. So if we can make a change in exchange, that'd be awesome."
It was so, oh my God, dude. When I told Nat about this and some other people, I was like, I'm gonna do this. And I got one of these looks for them, like, really? Oh, really? You're gonna And I was like, yes, because you guys know me well, and I think people watching and listening, a lot of you guys know me well too. That is not my comfort zone. I am firstborn Aries, Enneagram 8. That is me to a T.
That's like hearing you ask,
But
that's like hearing you say you need a hug. I really could use a hug right now. I'd be like, "No."
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'd
No,
check your temperature first. I'd be like, "You good?"
no, no, I do not. Uh, it is a humbling lesson for me, and the word that just kept coming up as I was going through this process, and I know Nat, you were doing it too, and when the three of us were talking about this, we all want a transformation. We really all do want our lives to be different. But that transformation requires that we let go of the things that once served us, but we acknowledge and recognize they no longer do. And that is so flippin' difficult. That's
Yeah.
why, right there is no app for transformation. There is no tool. There's no planner. There's no this. It is constant, personal, intentional work that you are checking in with yourself 24/7. And unlike a magic show, you might not see the results of the work that you're putting in for a very long time. You just have to trust and have faith that this is the direction that I want to go. And I appreciate you saying that, Nat. It's like, I'm not leaving my old self behind. It's not like I'm never looking back again, but it's you building a new path forward on what you've already created. And for me, this 13 wish is, I think, a part of this transformation. It's teaching me how to let go of stuff.
Mhm.
It's teaching me to have trust and faith in something that's, out of my physical realm of seeing. And it's also me just checking myself and being like, one thing, you need to do one thing, not all the things. And it's been interesting.
I had a similar revelationary moment. April and Jason know more of the details, but in August, I left my job and apartment in Portland. I couldn't make it work anymore. It was the same thing, trying to fit puzzle pieces that just would not fit. Moved in with my mom, did all of these things that I thought meant failure. And as I was driving, I haven't told them this, I don't think. As I was driving over Mount Hood to Central Oregon, it was pouring down rain, like torrential downpours. I had my life in my car, my dog freaking out, you know? I mean, it was just like not
Hmm.
a pleasant experience. And I saw 3 different angel numbers on 3 different license plates. I saw 111 444. I have dabbled, if you know me, I am spiritual, I am a woo-woo person, mm, but that was the sign that I needed to be like, "You are doing the right thing." And ever since that moment, I thought, "Okay, I'm just gonna trust that the universe has got me and my guardian angels have got me, and I'm gonna trust that this is the right thing." And ever since then, every once in a while, little things will happen, and I just say, "Thank you, universe. Thank you, I see you." And April, starting this 13 wishes thing is something I were toying with beforehand. I thought, "Okay, I guess maybe I should do this," and I was really struggling to just go for it and do it. I saw April doing it. I thought, "Okay, if April's doing it, I'm gonna do it because this is this is a big deal for her." So I thought,
Hmm.
"Okay, I'll do this too." But ever since I made the decision to do that, I'm like, "Okay, you're doing what you should be doing." And I think that's part of the transformation part is that relinquishing of the control of trying to put the puzzle pieces together. It doesn't always
Hmm.
work that way. And I think if we can notice areas of our life that maybe aren't working, no matter how much we try, and work on that and focus and not hyper focus, not make that our whole personality, but like, I'm going to focus on fill in the blank. Okay, cool. That is mine to focus on this year, my one thing to focus on. And I think that's a really powerful and different way of thinking than I have ever thought ever before in my life.
Hmm.
Well, and it gets you out of the it's all about perspective. So it puts you in a different mindset and perspective for the new year because a lot of times there's a lot of mourning involved in moving from one year to the next. You
Hmm.
mourn the all the things you didn't get done in 20 in the year that you're leaving, all the things that you lost, all the things that didn't work out, all those things. Like you have to mourn all those things and then say that, the thing we hear repeated the most when it comes to a new year. I'm coming in the new year way better than I left the last one, and I'm going to show this year who's boss. I'm kicking ass, taking that all the things we hear people say, which is awesome. But it only works. That change for mindset only works for the first like month or so because you're like, I'm going to do this, and then the first thing that happens. You're like, this is going to be just like 25. And then then you just hang it up at that point because you're like, well, what am I going to do? Life's going to life anyway. And I still got smacked in the face, 2 weeks into the year. If you don't move with some sort of intention into the new year for something to focus on, you're only going to be waiting for that other shoe to drop. You're going to be waiting on the first thing to happen. You're going to be not, 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of thing. And that's no way to tackle anything. So if you're really going to go into the new year with not looking like the year that you left, you have to look at it and actually come into it a different way than you've done before. Same thing with the diets and things that we tried before. Like, we've tried all that stuff and we continue to do the same thing over and over again, and it just didn't work. We tried, and it wasn't until we tried something different and, having bariatric surgery, taking the GLP-1, any type of, the medical supervised, obesity medicine help that you can come up with is
Mhm.
different than diets that we used to be on. So the fact that you can kind of morph into what you want the new year to be like with intention, with a goal, with a focus, not a resolution. Because like we were talking about before, and Nat was talking, alluding to the fact that, resolutions have such a negative connotation about them. And she's right, 100%. In a lot of ways, you're setting yourself up for failure because the second that you don't do or something doesn't align to what your resolution was, you feel like it's the same thing with a diet. You just give up, throw your hands up and go, well, that didn't work.
Yep. There's a Substack article that has come into my orbit ever since we started talking about what is a transformation and what are the elements of it, and we did the 13 wishes. And there was a part in this article, and we'll make sure that this is linked in the show notes. I got to read this verbatim because this kind of stopped me in my tracks, and it's exactly what we're talking about. Eventually, so this author says, eventually I stopped making resolutions altogether, not because I stopped wanting change, but because I stopped trying to become someone else. The desire to work on myself never went away. It simply lost its appetite for spectacle. And so, in place of resolutions, I turned towards ritual. I mean, it gives me goosebumps just that part. It simply lost the appetite for spectacle. And I was like, oh my God, that's what I live for. That's what I crave. This big, bold, I'm going to get this done. And sometimes I did at the absolute total expense of me, of my personal time, of my mental well being, or I would not get it done. And it just felt like this spectacular, fireworks explosion that was either working or not. I am so tired of that. I am tired of framing my life as a spectacle to be constantly in awe of when there are
Mhm.
so many things in my life that I haven't figured out, that I don't feel good about. I mean, when I read that, I was like, yeah, I have no more appetite for this. What I do
Mm.
have an appetite for is actually making real, lasting change to who I am and how I choose to live. There's enough on our plates as bariatric patients alone. I don't need to be adding on another single thing. There's enough there.
It's it's funny, I mean, life happens, right? And funny, trends. I've been seeing a lot of this on my social media feeds about slowing down and what is a slow life and how can you live a slow life. I never wanted a slow life before. Always, I mean, when I was younger in college, it's like, who's the next person I can see? What's the next experience I can have? And now I'm understanding that that's not a sustainable way to live. I mean, that's not how you have the joyous, fruitful, long life. I mean, I think I talk about my grandma all the time on this podcast. She had that. But then I think
Mhm.
about all of the things that she would do every day. She would take an hour for herself every morning, drinking her coffee, reading a book. She would make sure to call her friends and loved ones. She would cycle out every day. I'm going to call this person and this person. Tomorrow it'll be two new people. And every week she would just cycle through. And that was in living with intentionality and living in slowness. Sure, she was retired when I was born and, she had more time. But how can I like send a text to a friend on my way to work? Yeah. Hey, thinking of you. How are you? Let's catch up soon.
Mhm.
Making sure I have at least, I mean, I get up at 4 a.m. already. I'm not waking up any earlier. But how can I make sure I take like 20 minutes in the morning of silence and no scrolling and just maybe read a couple pages of my book? What are the ways that I can live more intentionally? But I think people forget that intentionality also means slowly. Like, you have to slow down. You can't you can't be there's no physical way, and I learned this in 2025. There's no physical way to live intentionally and slowly at the same time, or and fast at the same time.
Yes.
That
Yep.
just does not mesh.
Nope. And it is really hard to make that transition in a world built for speed. And at the rate that everything changes, right? Like you can't look at a screen without it doing this, right? It is constant. And Jason, I think you said, I don't know if we were recording, but we were on a screen together and you had said something about like, yeah, I'm kind of starting to realize that I don't need to find the edge of the internet every single night. Right? You had said that. And it was like, even you are having this like, okay,
The end of
something's
the end of the internet does not exist, and I'm not gonna find it tonight, and that is the thing. I scroll to try to find like this, because I'm the world's worst about getting like 5.5 hours of sleep a night, and that's lucky to get that if I don't, go up for 5 bathroom breaks a night. But that's the thing about like when I sit there and think about it, I'm like, yeah, I will legitimately look at the next story, the next story, the next story, and I'm just for what? Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not going to find the end, and it's not going to be tonight. So it's the same stuff's going to be there tomorrow. Like, let's just pick it up tomorrow. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But I mean, in that honestly, like what Nat's talking about, the intentionality of it all, that's very important to do. Like, you have to stop and think about how you're going to be into like how you're going to be intentional moving into the next space, the next phase, the next whatever it is, and even if it's just the next day. Like, we do this the same as we talk about the journey, the bariatric journey as a whole. You don't have to win the whole year on January 1st. It's not going to happen. And if you have a slip up the day of, you can get right back to it tomorrow. Like, if you lose the intentionality of the day because life gets to get, life does get to life, and you're going to get knocked down sometimes. You have to think about it and be like, okay, well, tomorrow's a new day. We're going to try it again tomorrow. You just try, because that's all it is. It's all practice. You just try it again tomorrow, and you try and try until you do. And then that's how that works. Like, that's how anything else in life happens. You don't just wake up knowing how to do it. You have to practice until you get it right. And then you have it, and then you keep moving.
Yep. And this, desire that I think all humans feel, right, to transform or to level up or to, whatever word you want to use there. It's just how we're wired. So it's not a bad thing. But I just feel like for so many years, I think I worked towards transformation in in the wrong ways. And I don't mean that to be mean to myself, right? But just like what you said, Jason, you try, you try, you try. It's practice. And with enough practice, you can kind of sit back and go, well, this really isn't working. Like I've tried to do this 100 times and it hasn't changed. So I'm trying to really be cognizant of that, right? And this isn't me chasing the next thing. It's me really taking a step back and going, this is not going the way that I want it to. And I've reached the point where I can't stand it being this way any further. And all three of us, and many of you watching and listening, know what this feels like. We've actually been there before. It's called pre-op. It's called the moment you decided to undergo bariatric surgery. That was, right, kind of a beginning point of a major transformation that you embarked on. Where I messed up is I thought surgery was the transformation. No, no, no. Surgery was the catalyst, right? That can allow for transformation to happen. But it's not the same thing. So I'm going to read a passage again from our Lord and Savior, Brene Brown. She along with James Clear and all the other fabulous people that we have. But she recently published a book. It's really it's like a business leadership book. It's a Dare to Lead book. But ultimately what this book is about is how we can go through transformation. Like stop saying the word transformation in like a magical sense. Transformation means real hard, long-term work. So a definition uses in this book from David White, he says, transformation is to hit present reality at high velocity and watch it break apart at impact.
Feel
Isn't reality, right? And I think, right, when we hear that, when we see that, hitting present reality at high velocity is something maybe we've done before. But the thing that I've never been able to stomach is that part where you watch it all break apart. And when I read that, I was like, "Mm-mm, I actually haven't really been through a transformation in my life. I don't think so. Maybe once before." And it's what this definition helped me understand is that I've hit present reality at high velocity. I have not watched it break apart because I've done everything in my power to keep the pieces in play and upright. I have not let them I haven't watched them break apart. And that's terrifying. I don't want to do that. But I also don't want to keep living the way that I'm living and feeling the way that I'm feeling. Really, that's what it comes down to. It's feeling the way that I feel. And the more that the three of us and that we've all, I don't know, thought on what this transformation is, the more I'm realizing, oh, it's it's the breaking part that I actually have to do.
yeah. I mean, I was my aunt has a friend who had a miscarriage, and literally maybe a month after the miscarriage had found out that she was pregnant with another baby, had a very healthy pregnancy, all of this. I mean, and named her daughter Phoenix because hello, you just went I mean, that's exactly it, right? You hit this wall of like, I will never recover from this. This is devastating. And you watch your life burn. But then you can rise. I mean, transformation is not to be taken lightly. And I think that's what social media, commercials, I mean, hydroxycut commercials, all of that. It's like transformation, right? Looks like this easy before and after. It looks like this, these two side by side pictures. And when I think about the day that I decided to have surgery with the help of my mom nudging me in the direction, I look around and I like look back to when I made that decision. My life was in shambles. I mean, I had nothing
Mhm. Mhm.
going for me. I wasn't doing or I didn't have what I thought I would have at that point in my life. And I decided to have surgery. Cool. Great 5 years. I'm kind of back in this like, what am I doing? Seeing my life hit the fan. Okay, another transformation. Here we go. I've done this before. I know what I need to do. And so that's hard to revisit. I mean, that's a hard place to be. It's not fun. It's not beautiful. It's not like this picturesque moment. It's sobbing in your car in the pouring rain. It's, you know, crying to your mom as you're like signing this paper saying you're going to have surgery in 3 months. It's whatever those moments are. They're not beautiful. It's transformation's not beautiful.
It's often grounded in pain, in chaos, and distrust, and all of those things. And it's not something that I think anybody can avoid. You're gonna hit that wall at high velocity no matter how carefully you drive. It's just not possible to avoid it, I think.
Yeah. Well, and while the end result can be and is oftentimes beautiful,
Mhm.
it's just like anything else. Like the most beautiful cathedral and buildings in the world started as not that. And it took a lot of work to get them to be that beautiful, to be that ornate, to be that custom, to
Mhm.
be that carved out. You're the same way. It's going to take the same to get your intricacies carved out, to get those last little bits of polish and finishing touches put on there. That takes work to do. But at the end result is it's beautiful. It's something that you deserve, that you worked hard for, that you earned, and that's where the story lies. Like, that's the journey. The journey is getting, say, you show me the after pictures all day long. I wanna know what came between the before and the after. Show me the middle, show me the meat, the dirty stuff. That's what I wanna see. I wanna see the hard stuff.
I feel like we talk about this so much, the three of us. We're like, it's not the before and the after, it's the middle. It's the messy middle that the work of transformation actually happens. It's it's a really it's hard to it's hard to describe and it's hard to nail down. But I think we all get to this point, especially along our bariatric journey, where we hit that wall. We hit that wall. And sometimes, right, we don't watch the pieces break apart because we instantly go back to making decisions and living and doing things the way that we've done before because that's known. But that's not letting the pieces drop. That's not allowing that to happen. And it's really scary when you don't, right? When you don't know what's next.
Well, yeah, you're taping pieces up before they can fall, so you can keep everything in your perfect little view because that's how it's been, and that's what you're used to. And so, if you let the pieces fall, you have no control over how they fall, where they go, what happened.
Hmm.
If you lose a piece, then what happens? It doesn't go back together the same way that it did before. There's so many things that factor into it that we don't realize that a lot of times it doesn't need to go back the way it was before. We need to lose some of those pieces in order to make the perfect mosaic that we need to continue to move forward the way that best serves us, because a lot of those pieces from the previous weren't serving us, so we have to lose those pieces to be able to create what we need to thrive into.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
There's another passage, and I promise this is the last one, but just wait, because I know you guys don't know what this is yet, but it's going to tie directly to what you guys said. So again, Brene Brown says, anyone who is not preparing you for that journey, right, this transformational journey, who is not willing and capable of walking it with you, or who is trying to convince you that it's a well-lit and knowable path, should be approached with caution. When I read this, I knew that we as a community and as an organization are kind of on this path to transformation and to helping others transform. We're doing everything we can do to prepare ourselves and others for what lies ahead. We are willing and capable of walking it with you because we are walking it ourselves. We are fighting the disease of obesity. Anybody who's trying to convince you that it's a well-lit and knowable path should be approached with caution. We don't know your path. We have,
Yeah. You don't know my
we,
path.
right? It was like, I mean, we're here to help teach you how to cut a path, but your path is not my path. It's not her path. It's not his path. There's going to be some tools that you will probably find beneficial along the way. But this is where I think sometimes we get into really murky, muddy waters when it comes to helping others. There is no clear-cut path for transformation. In Berry Nation right now, we're moving through what's called the hero's journey. And the hero's journey is 12 steps, right? It is a path for walking this transformational journey. But what each step looks like, when each person gets to that, and what that experience is like is 100% your own. 100% your own. And when we provide people with here's a map of the United States. You want to get there? There's 50 billion ways to get there. It's your job to figure out how to do that.
Tour guide for my own damn path.
Right.
Every 4 years, that I don't know where the hell I'm going. No, and it's we talk a lot about it. We do stress it, but it's only because we know from our own patient lived experience what that looks like and how messy, how scary it can be. And it us talking about it relentlessly isn't to try to tell you that we know what you don't. It's for us to let you know that it's okay for you as well as us to not know what you don't. It's not it's not about knowing what the end result's gonna look like. It's about knowing that when it does get messy, that there's people there to help you get it unmessy. We can help you clean it up and help you figure out what it is you're trying to do, but it's the community that's gonna help you, that you build around yourself, because the people that aren't there helping you do that, either they're trying to convince you otherwise or trying to keep you from changing or becoming your true best honest self, really may not be the people for you. They may not be the people you need to be around. It may not be somebody you just disconnect from altogether,
Mm-hmm.
but they maybe need to kind of see themselves around for a little while. Like, you may need to
Mm-hmm.
pause on that, do what you got to do, and then pick that back up later. Because there's times in this journey that we are very susceptible to listen to other people, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not really kind of clued into that, we can take a lot of bad advice and get going down the wrong path. Then we have to make a U-turn and go all the way back. and then start from there and start making positive strides. And
Yep.
it's hard to know when those times are. So you just have to be vigilant in knowing kind of, the advice you're getting.
Yep. Well, and for me, what I see in that little passage is like, okay, well lit noble path should be approached with caution. For me, that's diet culture, right? For me, that's somebody saying, oh, this diet, this supplement, this will help you. This will be the thing that will help you transform. No, it won't. No, it won't. It is a distraction from the actual transformation that I want to happen. And this modern world is built 1,000% on distraction, right?
Yeah. I mean, my favorite thing to do now, I'll see a product. I mean, we all see them. It's not a unique experience, right? To be scrolling on Instagram and get the ads, especially right now. And I'll
Hmm.
text a friend, April, Jason, anyone. I'll text, my berry friends, or sometimes I text my aunt who's an RN. What do you think about this? And my favorite thing, speaking of people who won't lie to you, essentially, my favorite thing is to receive back a text that says, yeah, tried it. It sucks. Don't buy it.
Yep.
Perfect. I won't.
Yep.
Thank you. I don't need the the magic, right? I don't need the magic pill or supplement. But that's my ultimate favorite text to receive back. No, don't do it. You
Yep.
don't need it.
Yep. Mm-mm. The longer I walk down this bariatric path, the more that I guess starting to believe I really do have everything that I need inside me already to get to where I want to go to make this transformation. And I guess what I mean by that is I also know that I don't know a lot, but a new planner, a new supplement, whatever, a new fill in the blank is not going to really help me get there. What I need is conversation. What I need is books and resources. I need to learn the things that will unlock whatever that next step is for me. And again, that's hard, right? Because you're letting the pieces break apart. It's me saying it's like, oh, no, that actually won't help me, even though it says it will. Oh my God, I have to just trust myself and know that nope, that shiny thing is not the thing that's going to help me along this path of transformation. I need to refocus. I need to, right, put blinders on and just go forth and do it that way. But it's freaking hard. It's so hard.
If you would have told 2021 Nat that she didn't need all the protein powders, all of the green, all of the what else did I do? The
Hmm.
big new planners, I mean, listen, we get it. First of all, like no judgment. If this is you this year and you're like, oh, I just spent $100 on these, good, do it. If that's what you need, whatever. But I have learned in the last 4 years, I just need a well rounded diet and my just better fiber. They're the two things that I need. And dive bars. Okay, I haven't bought dive bars in a long time, but dive bars are up there.
I think we all understand what you mean by that. And it's a part of this transformational journey. This year, that's what we are going to be focusing on as an organization. It's us hitting high velocity at top speed, whatever that quote was, and watching the pieces break apart. Something has to give. Patients deserve better. The world deserves better. And it's time, I think, for us as individuals, as an organization, as a community, to recognize transformation is not a magical moment. Transformation is done over a lifetime, and it takes deep work, deep commitment. It takes a willingness to be brave and to be vulnerable, to lean into community and to get clear on the direction that you want to go. We don't necessarily know how to do that. Really, the point of this year is that we will learn and share as we go, because this is a journey. That this is the path forward for us to all get to where we want to go and be the people that we want to be. So we invite you to join us on this year as we explore what transformation is, what it isn't, and how we can navigate our way through it.
And I just have to say, the beautiful part is that we all get to do it together. I know that I
Yes.
said that it's not beautiful, but that is a beautiful part. We're not alone.
No, we are not alone. It's the part that makes transformation, I think, fun. Or it's the part that keeps you going on the days that are hard. When you do it with others, when you are surrounded by people who are willing to walk it with you, it can be done. It can be done. Awesome. Well, friends, thank you for tuning in to our very first episode of the year. If this resonated with you, let us know. Make a comment on whatever platform you're listening on. You can send us an email to hello@barianation.com. But we really want to hear your feedback. We want to know what you're thinking when it comes to transformation. And we want to make sure that we are walking this path together with you. And that means you let us know what would be helpful or not. So thank you for engaging with us. Thank you for believing in us. And thank you for walking this journey of transformation with us that we're all on together. All right, friends, we'll see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
That wraps up another empowering episode of the Bari Nation podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, keep the conversation going by joining the Bari Nation membership community, where you can attend live support events, access on-demand resources, and find a caring community.
Join us at barrynation.mn.co. If you found this podcast valuable, help us produce it by becoming a $5 monthly supporter at barrynationpodcast.com.
And just remember, at the end of the day, you've got this, we've got you, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.